And welcome back to day 2 days in a row of relationship advice here on the Debsterism channel. I haven't done this in a long time since I think we did Debbie. No, that was just one day, February day. It was a long day, but it was just one day. But we did, I think it was 20 questions yesterday, and we have about that many again today. So let me get started in a minute. First, let me say happy birthday to all the Leos out there. Mine is tomorrow, so I've been sitting up here trying to figure out. Originally, I was going to go out of town, but I'm like, I don't, it's just too exhausting. Traveling is just exhausting to me. When I was younger, I used to like all that. It was, getting on the plane and standing in line. I said, now that is like the biggest, most tedious chore in the world. Unless I'm going to go for like a month, it's just not worth it. I'll just go for a couple of days. I'm not going to do all that. So I just stayed at home. I'm going to take myself out to dinner, though. Me and Ken and a couple other friends, we're going to go out to dinner. And that's going to be about it. So that's going to be my big, exciting birthday for this year. But yeah. See, Ash, like when I was younger, it was like August 1st, I start celebrating. And I would celebrate through August 31st. And it was like, you're right, it was birthday month. But I can't do that now. I would die to doing all that drinking and partying I used to do. I don't know. I wish I had that time and energy now. I tell you that. But anyway, let's get started. I'm starting off with some of the questions I, put aside from yesterday for today, and then we'll get rolling here. And let me say, for those of you who might want to send in a question, the next show will be Sunday, so you'll have time to send your question in. If you want to submit a question, instructions for how to do it are there, scrolling across the screen at the bottom. You just log on to debsterism.com. It's right there on the screen as well. Debsterism.com, and click the tab that says Get Advice. You fill out the little form and press send, and hopefully your question will get selected, and we'll put in a column. It'll be delivered to my email box just like this one is. I just print it out, and then we do it for the show. That's how we're going to do this. All right, so let me move that and get going. Let's start with question number 1 of 20. This young lady is 22 to 27 from Norman, Oklahoma. Summer issue. My boyfriend is punishing me for going on a pre-planned trip, and I'm starting to see red flags. I'm going on a bachelorette weekend that I have been planning for a while, and my boyfriend, let's call him H, knows about it. But the night before I leave, he spontaneously buys movie tickets without checking with me first. I mean, that's fine. I like spending time together, but I told him I'd need time to pack and prep after, especially since I have a tight schedule tomorrow. Turns out he didn't leave me much time. We get home late, and then he tells me I have 15 minutes to pack and get ready, or he's locking me out of the bedroom. Seriously? I told him that wasn't going to work. I said that I needed to pack and prep properly, or I'll forget important things. Cue the meltdown. He got visibly angry, and while I was still getting out of the car to head into the apartment, he sped off and left me standing there. Later, when I tried to explain I wasn't trying to inconvenience him, his response was, I don't care if it's not your intention, you're still doing it. How is he being inconvenienced? Okay, maybe you explain later. That line really stuck with me. It feels like he's punishing me for having plans that don't revolve around him, especially on a night where he has to go to bed early for work. Part of me thinks he planned that movie as a way to eat into my prep time so he could hold it against me afterwards. I don't want to jump to conclusion, but this somehow feels manipulative and controlling. Am I seeing this correctly or am I tripping? Well, I would, okay, I would see it the same way you would, except I would have handled it differently because, you had things that you needed to do. He bought tickets. When he told you I bought tickets, you're supposed to say, "Oh, you should have checked with me first. I can't go. I have stuff I need to do because I'm leaving out of town in the morning, and I don't have time to go sit for 3 hours in a movie theater. So you'll have to go take one of your buddies or something, or see if you can get your money back. But I can't do it." That's what I would have said because you made specific plans. But see, by you thinking you're compromising and being a good girlfriend and stuff, all you did was fall into his trap. You gave him an in, and that's you shouldn't have done that. So I always tell women, you got to stick to your agenda. You make the guy got to get in where he fits in, and I suppose he has the same right to do that too. But you don't. Neither one of you should change your definitive plan, especially if it's involving groups of other people, because this other person gets a bee in a bonnet at the last minute and wants to do something that's going to throw your schedule off or cause you a problem. You have to have a very clear boundaries for your time, and you just say, "No, I can't do that. Sorry, you bought that ticket, but I can't do it." And then you would have went on home and packed your stuff at leisure, and done what you needed to do. Get your nails done, do your hair, whatever you were going to do. You would have had time to do it, but instead you gave him that time, which you should not have done. So I mean, I don't know what you want to do about it. I'm assuming that you went on with the trip anyway. But in the future, watch for this kind of stuff and make sure that you say, "Look, I told you I had this and that to do. And so no, I'm not going to do that because you decided to create this situation. It's not going to change anything on my side." And if he has a problem with that and it keeps cropping up over and over, you need to question this relationship because, nobody should feel like they have the right to detract you from your plans that you have, especially for a bachelorette party. So that's been months at least in the planning. It's not like it's a surprise, it's nothing new. He just tried to derail at the last minute. And that's a power play. It is manipulative, just like you identified, and it's very controlling behavior. It's very negative, nasty behavior as well. It's disrespectful to you and to the bride and all the other people who are going to be on this bachelorette trip. So I don't know. That's amazing. To me, I'd be like, I'm thinking about when we get back, we break it up because to me that's a bad sign. But you might not read into it as much as I do, but to me that would be like the handwriting on the wall that this shit here is about to end because he's thinking he's gonna be changing my life and impacting what I want to do whenever he gets a whim. No, don't work like that. Let's move on from his silly behind. Question number 2. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Caucasian from New York somewhere. The male's 28 to 34. So I'm an issue. I caught my boyfriend doing ooh, uh, Coca-Cola at a wedding. How do I move forward? My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 3 months. Oh, only 3 months? Girl, you next his ass. I am 23 and he is 30. We were at a wedding together and I caught him going off to do Coca-Cola. I was completely shocked, and we haven't talked about those kind of things before, but that's a huge no for me, and it instantly made me consider ending the relationship, which you should have done. Afterwards, we had several serious conversations. He told me he tried it at 25 and he only does it 2 to 3 times a year since. Then always doing big parties or weddings, and that's not something he's addicted to or needs. He admitted it's stupid and said that he has no problem giving it up. He promised me not to touch it again because he saw how much it hurt me and said he would always choose staying with me over that. He also mentioned that he knows a lot of people that use it casually. He's a project manager, and I might not be aware of how common it is. He thinks that alcohol and cigarettes are more harmful because of frequent use. Everything else between us is great so far, and we get along really well. I decided to give him a chance. He really seemed genuine and honest, and I feel like he really does care about me. But now I'm struggling with a lot of doubt and outside pressure. My friends think I'm being manipulated and that he'll just hide it better next time, and that I'm foolish for trusting someone I've only known for a few months. They haven't met him yet either. How do I move forward when something so serious happens early on in the relationship? Do we stand a chance? I don't even know where to start. Okay. Let me try to be somewhat gentle with you since you're only 23. This man has shown you who he is. Okay. Now you say that's a big problem for you. Yet you're focusing on sticking in the relationship anyway. So what you're doing right now, young lady, is putting having a quote relationship in a superior position to having a relationship with a man who matches your morals and values. So you just taking any old scallywag because he's breathing and got a wee wee. That's essentially what you're saying. I mean, you got somebody who, I mean, because unfortunately, I've had too many people in my life, my experience. They go down this path and it escalates, and then before you know it, they start getting low on money because stuff is expensive, and so then they spend up all their money, so then start getting in your pocket. And then they run out of, you shut them down. So then your stuff starts disappearing. Your gold bracelet, your diamond rings, your diamond earrings, stuff that they can pawn or sell for money to get more drugs. So I've seen that happen. I can't even tell you how many times in different families, including my own. And so, it's the kind of thing that when you see that and you know that that is an entryway to hell, why would you stay in a situation with that person if that's not your value system? See, this is when it becomes time to be an adult and make adult decisions. You're still like a teenager. Well, is it going to work for us? Do we stand a chance and all this old stuff here? It's like you don't worry about a relationship. You should be focusing on the man that you're in the relationship with. Okay, you're 23. You're not a kid anymore. So I can't really let you off the hook completely. I'm going to give you a little slack because obviously you're young and you don't have as much experience. But you're 23. So, it's time to get your shit together. You cannot be having men coming in and out of your life that are not what you're looking for. Once you find out that they're not what you're looking for, you're supposed to let them go. That's what dating is all about. Every dude that you get with is not the one. And so you don't spend all this time and energy trying to make him be the one and find reasons to stay with him and excuses to make for his errant behavior and stuff like that. That's not what you do. And don't you think that if somebody's bold enough to do something like that at a wedding with all them people around, that what you think he gonna do if he's just with them dudes in private? So, I mean, you need to look at this more realistically and realize, just understand, I'm just not feeling dude at all. I don't even get with people, guys that smoke the herbalicious. I just can't do it because I see that, a lot of them are just, they get demotivated. They want to sit around and, play video games or do whatever, but they don't have that drive, that ambition, that go getter kind of attitude. They just be like, oh, chill out. Yeah, yeah. Don't, kind of about everything. And yeah, I'm looking for some change, I'm looking for some action, and they just don't have you know, that kind of energy, that kind of focus and direction. So you think about this. I mean, if it were me, by the time I found out, we would have been broken up then, because that's in 3 months. That's the period of time. That's when the mask falls off. Because most men can play a game for 90 days. At 90 to 95 days after is when the mask starts coming off, and you get to really see who they really are. You saw something. You better pay attention. Question number 3. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's Asian Indian from London, and the female is 22 to 27, and she's white. Oh, this ought to be interesting. It's two different, very different cultures. Summary of issue. My girlfriend's cruel comments about my 4-year-old baby sister have me questioning everything. How do I move forward? I'm 24, and my girlfriend, who is 25, have been together for almost 3 years. This letter involves her interaction with my little sister, who is 4. Lately, I've been feeling like my girlfriend is controlling, impulsive, and lacks empathy and emotional maturity. I've repeatedly told her that her behavior hurts me and my mom, that she basically ignores my sister. Her usual response is that I need to respect her decisions. But honestly, it feels wrong to treat a kid that way. She says she ignores her literally like a ghost because she is disrespectful, annoying, talkative, and loud. That's what 4-year-olds are. Because, oh, wait, it makes me feel like she lacks basic empathy. For example, my sister would try to show her a drawing or just say hello. and my girlfriend will brush it off or say something dismissive to her. There have been other controlling behaviors too. For a while, she wouldn't even let me take my own clothes out of the wardrobe because she claims it's because I am too messy and she loves everything in order. It got better after I basically said I couldn't be in a relationship like that, but the controlling stuff keeps popping up in other ways. Recently, during a period of mourning, this is based on my religion, she told me I wasn't allowed to go to the sea. When I said that's not her belief to impose on me, she told me I should just do what she says and respect her. Wow. And you didn't cuss her out? I've never tried to control where she goes or what she does. Lately, she's also started name calling me. Oh, no, see, no. During serious conversations, if I can't find something she asks me to look for, she'll say things like, well, what happened? Is your brain on vacation? And then tell me it's just a joke and that I shouldn't take it seriously. But it feels disrespectful. I never talked to her that way. The other day, things escalated. I confronted her about all this. And when I talked to her about not talking to my sister, she said some really awful things about my little sister's behavior. She called her barbaric, trash, and even mentally ill. Wow. And you didn't kick her ass? These words were so shocking and hurtful that they made me feel numb. Like if that's truly how she sees my family, then maybe this relationship isn't worth fighting for anymore. Maybe. I'm torn. You ain't torn, you just stupid. Part of me feels like giving her one last chance, especially since she says she understands now. But another part of me feels like too much damage has been done and I would just be wasting my time. My family is also getting concerned about the situation. I would appreciate any perspectives that you have. Dude, I've been talking about this for the last couple of months. That overwhelmingly the problem that I see with relationships over the last 20 years is that people in them accept far too much disrespect. I mean, it's like y'all just hang you see the disrespect. It happens over and over and over. And you stay in the relationship and then write me a letter or post them online somewhere. I mean, it's not all only coming to me. Um, that you want to That's what I'm saying, Leandra. That these people are talking to you crazy and like you have a tail and paws and stuff, and now she's attacking a 4-year-old. And you're saying you're wondering if maybe this isn't worth fighting for? See, I want you to take maybe out of it, and I want you to understand when a woman disrespects your family and you're a man in that family, especially a young female that you are supposed to be protecting. She's a baby. She's only 4. And you sat there and you let that girl talk about her like that, and you didn't check her right there and throw her out your house or whatever, where was the situation. See, you're presenting yourself as weak and controllable. And that's why I mean, it's not why, but she feels like it's okay for her to do that because you haven't checked her. And I mean with force. I mean getting in her face, pointing at her, telling her she best not ever do again, bitch. That kind of stuff. That's the kind of way you have to talk to a woman like this because she don't understand, but like, conversation and respect and stuff like that. Put your hands on her throat and tell her you say something else about my sister again and see what I do to you. That kind of thing. I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm just saying it's a threat to show her how serious you are. And people don't before people say you're encouraging domestic violence. I'm a woman and I have done that shit to other women. Okay. So I don't really give a fuck about all that. I'm talking about the respect part. And the words people say comes from here. Right. So if you come and you talking shit and I start choking the shit where the shit is emanating from, don't say nothing because you asked for that. You should have cut your mouth shut. So, in this case, she's done it over and over again. Don't you think your little sister at 4 can recognize what's going on? Don't you think she's feeling hurt and dismissed and like she's less than and wondering what she did wrong and why this woman hates her? Don't you think that she can feel that? And she's wondering why you're not stepping in to protect her? Why you're not doing anything about it? You writing me and whining about it, talking about, give her one more chance and all this old shit here. How many hundreds of chances have you already given the silly bitch? Dude, wake the fuck up, please. Respect yourself, respect your family, respect your baby sister, respect your blood, and then let this trifling hoe go. Okay, she don't respect you. I don't know why she's with you. You must have some money. There's some benefit that she's getting from being with you. Money, prestige, I don't know what it is. your family's got something going on that she wants this, shine a light that's shining on her. So there's some benefit that she perceives she's getting from you, but she still doesn't respect you because you're not respecting yourself. All right. I want you to fix this immediately. Get rid of this cow. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I have to put those disclaimers in there because people be like, oh my God, you're also woman focused, but you said that he should choke her. And that's why I had to say, I've choked bitches myself. I really don't care. You start talking some shit, you deserve to get choked. And I just don't, you shouldn't talk shit to people, then that wouldn't be a problem for you. Yeah, they very weak, they seem like these days. And I'm wondering if it's because, I've always said I think they should bring back the draft personally, because young men don't know how to be men anymore. They sitting up there, sitting up there watching popcorn all day and doing stupid shit when they should be, building their bodies and strengthening their minds and learning how to, be organized and thinking on stuff. And that's what being in the service did to them. Notice in Korea, all the young men, even BTS had to go into the service for 18 months. Everybody goes to the service unless they have some health problem, like just like here, that keeps them out. Everybody has to do their tour of duty to learn how to fight and how to be in command and how to be commanded. And it's a training ground for young men to learn how to fit into society and discipline themselves. And so I think that was what they should do here, because these dudes are just weak as hell. Their minds are weak, their bodies are weak, their posture's horrible. All they do is sit around, slumped over playing with game controllers like this. So everybody got that rounded back thing instead of, like that military posture that's all straight. Their heads are high and their backs are straight and everything. They don't have that. That's it. I'm an equal opportunity catch these hands. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, I just telling you, when I was terrible, I used to fight so much in San Francisco when I was growing up in the film mode. That's where I grew up. You had to know how to fight, or you wasn't gonna survive all that. So yeah, this is a trip. I just really it's sad that young men are like this these days. Let's move on to question 4. This young lady's 22 to 27 from Amarillo, Texas. The male is also 22 to 27. Summary of issue. My boyfriend and I cannot stop arguing about how irresponsible he is. Well, what you arguing him for? Just leave his ass alone. Why is this even a question? Oh, my boyfriend and I have been together for 6.5 years, and you only 22 to 27? We are both 22 and got together at 15. Oh my God, your parents should not have allowed this. We've lived together for the last 2 years and graduated from high school in 2022. Since graduating, I've completed my associate's degree and I'm working 40 hours a week at a secure job. My boyfriend dropped out of college and got dropped from financial aid due to failing so many classes. He works at a job that he loves, but he only works about 30 hours a week. My boyfriend and I cannot stop arguing. It's not even big arguments, it's something specific to resolve. It's just that my boyfriend is unreliable and irresponsible. It's been a theme of our entire relationship. We are great friends and lovers, but bad partners. He constantly lets me down and doesn't do what's best for our relationship. Okay, so why are you with him then? I'm just frustrated because we can always make one another laugh, but I'm so tired of arguing. He keeps saying that he's going to work on it. Sometimes he does make progress. It just feels like it's going nowhere. That's because it's not. It's been 6.5 years of this bullshit. I mean, how many more years do you need before you get a damn clue and move on? Just because you with somebody and he was your first boyfriend and all that stuff. See, first doesn't mean forever. First doesn't mean last. First definitely don't mean best. It just means first. So he was your first, and now you see there was a mistake because you've outgrown him. And once you outgrow someone, unless they're making concerted effort to keep up, which he's not, then the gap is just going to get bigger and bigger between you. And that's why you're arguing. You want him, you're trying to motivate him to move up and step up and try to, strive for greatness. And he's not going to do it until he's ready to, which may be never. Yeah, he's immature. And so, she just outgrown him. And so, but she hasn't, she's not ready to accept that yet. And so she's probably gonna waste another year or two of her life and then she'll leave. Luckily, she's only 22. So, she won't have wasted like all of her youth on this fool. But you better get rid of him now because, before you get turned 30 and then you be mad because you was with a fool and wasted all your 20s, all your youth and all your beauty on an idiot. You better think about what's good for yourself and leave this fool alone. Mm-mm-mm. Question number 5. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group from Cambridge, Massachusetts. The young lady in question is 22 to 27. Summary of issue. My girlfriend struggles with anxiety and it's starting to affect our relationship. How can I support her without losing myself? Mm, Maybe get her an ant farm. Like girlfriend from yesterday. I still can't get over that shit. Her ants, her emotional support ants. I've been telling people about that. Every time I talk to somebody, I tell them about that thing I heard on the radio, and they're like, "What?" They be like, "What?" Okay, so let's see what else happened. I've been with my girlfriend 24 for a couple of years. I'm 23, and this is my first serious relationship. So she's older by 1 year. I really love her. She's compassionate, funny, ambitious, and makes me feel genuinely cared for. We have so many good moments, and I see a future with her. But over time, I've noticed how much her anxiety plays a role in our relationship, and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. She's very open with me about her mental health, and I really respect that. But when she's anxious, especially about our relationship, it becomes emotionally heavy, like I'm constantly needing to reassure her of things I've already said or proven. She sometimes spirals into thoughts like, what if you change your mind about me? Or what if I'm too much? Or what if this isn't enough for you? And when I try to calm her down, it sometimes makes things worse, like I'm saying the wrong thing or not saying it enough. I know she's not doing it to be hurtful. It's coming from a place of fear and overthinking, but it still impacts how connected we feel. I don't want to walk away. I care about her deeply and want to support her. But I also feel like I'm walking a line between being a supportive partner and losing my own sense of emotional stability. I'm starting to dread conflict because it feels like every disagreement could spiral into something much bigger. How do you love someone through anxiety episodes without feeling like you're constantly managing their emotions? What do you think would help me stay grounded and supportive at the same time? My young brother. Let me go back and you in the 20. Okay, you say you 23 and she's 24 and she got some good traits and everything, but she's stupid as fuck and she's got all this anxiety and all this stupid shit she bring into the relationship. And see, I'm telling you, I don't do anxiety. I don't do depression. I don't do bipolar. I don't do schizophrenia. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't do nothing. You got to be fucking normal and have your shit together to deal with me. I can't do it. I'm very honest about telling people I can't do it. I just can't. It's just not. I'm just not built that way to do that or that kind of patience. So, and I very in that my patience would play out like this. So she would say, "What if you change your mind about me?" It's like you keep acting a zip damn fool like this, and I will. And she would say, "What if I am too much?" I said, "You already too much," and got me questioning how quick I want to get the fuck up out of here. Or what if this isn't enough for you? You're more than enough. You too much. You're doing the goddamn most, as a matter of fact. And then, trying to calm her down. I wouldn't be trying to calm her down. I would just tell her, look, I'm getting sick of this shit. You wearing me out with these quizzes, questions, and this anxiety and shit. Why don't you go get your ass to shrink? Because you wearing me the fuck out. The relationship is not, it's not fun. And I'm not enjoying it anymore because you just drive me crazy. You piss me off. And you sit up there asking me all these dumbass questions and making all these stupid ass comments all the time. It's a fucking turn off. Get your shit together. I'm gonna go stay at my friend's house or my parents' house or somewhere, and I'll come back in a week. And you better have your shit straight, or this shit here is over. Now that's how it would go with me because I'm just I don't have this gene that you are using here to hold her hand through life at 23. I'm like, when did you get a doctorate doctorate in psychology? You're gonna be dealing with some nutty ass bitch, dude. Get your shit together and tell her, look, I'm only 23. I can't handle your mental breakdowns and stuff. So you either go see a shrink and start working on that, or I'm the deuce out. Boop, and then do it. You keep saying you don't want to walk away, and you can't love her and you want to support her, but you're incapable of doing that. You don't have the skill set. You don't even have the life experience to do anything like that. Shit, I'm twice as older, more than twice as old as you, and I don't have the life experience to do it. So it's like, what do you think that you're going to be doing all of this with? I mean, it's a lofty goal and it sounds good on paper, but you don't have the tools to help her. So all you're going to do is waste years and years of your life on this nutty bitch. Get rid of this hoe. What are you doing? I mean, if I was your mother, I would tell you the same thing. This is a lost cause. Son, let's move on here. Question number 6. This is a female, 35 to 41 age group from Hartford, Connecticut. Summary of issue. What should be spoken via text prior to a date in person? Okay. I plan to start dating at some point, maybe this year. Well, this year is mostly over, so you better hurry up. But this part worries me a bit. I'm a very wordy person. Oh, no. I feel like I should be concise and to the point. But a part of me feels like if I don't be myself, then that would cause issues in the future with that person somehow. Basically, being open and honest about who I am without holding back. But for as much as detail as I could give, I know I want to try to prioritize certain information. In doing that, I'll leave room for the person to ask me questions and get to know me. That's true. Even though I'm just long winded and filling in details before questions are asked. Please help. Well, I will tell you the trick that I used to, okay, I used to work in law as a paralegal. And one of the things that I did, my specialties was trial prep. And, that included, putting together all these trials. This is a long time ago before the internet really got into use and all this kind of stuff because, and we, people didn't really do like electronic stuff. I mean, we did, exhibits. I mean, stuff that you like put up on a easel and it shows in the room kind of thing. So I would prepare all of those usually the week before trial, and then they would go to court on Monday morning and settle the case on the courthouse steps. So it never failed. But one of the things that I would do when we were prepping someone for a deposition, the client, one of our, say the client we were representing was going to get deposed by the opposing counsel. I would always tell them, listen to the question that they ask you. If you have any doubts, you don't understand it, raise your hand and say, I need to consult with my attorney before I answer. And we will, explain it to you in layman's terms in case there's confusion. But don't volunteer information. You answer only the question that they ask you. And that's the only information that you give them. That is that you would think that's easy. That's the hardest shit for most people to get because they want to sit there, they want to fill in the blank. So if you sit there quiet, if the attorney sits there quiet, they just want to keep talking. They just keep talking. They can't stand for it to be silent. And it was really hard for me to teach them. Okay, so I'd ask, we practicing. I'd ask them a question, and then I'd say, okay, now you answer this, and they would answer, and then I would be quiet because that's the part that most people struggle with. And they get antsy. They wiggling in the chairs. They doing all the stuff here, and they start moving and wiggling. And then they say, "Well, because," and then they pick up and they start. I say, "Stop." Nobody asked you that. Remember, you're only answering the question that they ask you. So for you, that would be a valuable lesson for you to learn. You doing a conversation with someone and back and forth and stuff, they had asked you how was your day today. Oh, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't have any complaints. Then you stop talking. And then they might say, oh, well, what was so good about it? See how that works? Before you volunteered what was so good about it, you let them become part of the conversation and ask you. They might ask you something completely different. But, or they might say something like, I don't know, well, pick one thing and tell me that, what was the most exciting thing? Was your great accomplishment today? There might be some spin on it. Then you answer that. And if you stay focused on that, it might help you stop having diarrhea of the mouth. Because, wordy people, like the most I talk in life is on this show. I don't be talking. I don't. Why? I'm in my head most of the time. Like I'm looking at people and I'm listening to what they're saying and I'm analyzing them and probably judging someone in a little bit too. But, I just, because I'm going to come back on the show, I'm going to tell you all what I heard, what I found out, what I learned, or what somebody said, what somebody did. But yeah, people, they talk too much. Dudes do that real bad. Like on first days, they just won't tell you everything. They just diarrhea of the mouth, just spill their guts, just telling all kind of shit that you didn't even ask and don't want to know. Especially when they start talking about other women. So, it's something I think a lesson that most people could learn. If someone asks you a question, just answer the question and then shut up. Just shut up. Because you start volunteering information, you're going to get yourself in a problem. Okay? They didn't ask you that. I did that when I had to do a deposition. I answered exactly what they asked me. So they never asked me the right questions, and so they didn't get the information that they wanted. You think I'm stupid? I'm gonna just give it to them and hurt myself? No, bitch, you gonna have to pull the right questions out and ask me to get the information out of me. Otherwise, I'm taking them to my grave. And they never asked me, and so that was that. Yeah, it is usually a boring monologue because they just drone on and on and on. They're entertaining themselves, pontificating. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Let's move on. Question number 7. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Rockford, Illinois. Summary of issue. I don't see the point in dating. Oh my God, my brother. Now, hear me out because I know you are probably going to come for me. No, I'm not. See, this is my thing. If most relationships don't last, I don't see the point in dating. Most people don't get that kind of love that lasts for 40 years. Realistically, it's just a constant cycle of breaking up, finding someone new, and the cycle continues. Well, yeah, until you find that one that you want to be with for 40 years. Is it possible to keep dating and finding one that lasts forever? Yes. Is it probable? No. I've noticed a constant theme within romantic relationships. People start dating, they think they are so in love. But once the newness wears off and the problems come to the surface, they are ready to throw in the towel, find someone else, and then guess what? They have all the newness with this new person. They start getting into the routine, issues arise, and then they are looking to find someone else. And this is just a constant cycle. But that's what dating is. What I mean, you want somebody to just get with somebody and just stay with them, even if they're not compatible? Even if they do some stupid shit to them, say crazy things to them, talk to them all kind of weird, and have some really weird values, morals, and behaviors. You think just because they date, they should stay together? You sound stupid. I mean, I was on your side until I just read this. A relationship with no issues and that is always easy isn't realistic. You will have issues no matter who you date, especially the longer you date. To be honest, I think what this world lacks is integrity, relationship slash conflict skills, and resilience. Also, this reason is my opinion is from my own experience, observing other relationships and talking with other people about their relationship. Do you agree? To an extent, but from my perspective, okay, you say that people don't want to stick, they want to throw in the towel. I'm from the perspective when I get these letters that these more people need to throw in the towel. I mean, they stay in the situations that's not working with the person that they're totally incompatible with too long. Yeah, he he need a partner Hallmark. He needs something because it's. I mean, dude, I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you, your thinking is wrong. Okay, you're looking for longevity in no matter what the situation is from a dating situation. Dating is about meeting different people, spending time with, getting to know them, and figuring out if this person is a good match for you to make it to the next level or not. So most people don't make that cut. So you move on to the next person, which is what you're supposed to do. For example, let me use myself as an example. Okay, go out with a dude, and then he starts trying to, talking under your clothes and being all disrespectful. Now, it's from your way of thinking that, we should talk it out and we should resolve it. From my way of thinking, he's a sleaze bag, a douchebag, a fool, and a disrespectful nut job, and I don't want nothing else to do with him. So, yeah, it's to you, it would look like, oh my God, as soon as a little problem came up, she just left him and moved on to the next one. From me, it looks like that's what I'm supposed to do because he don't know how to treat me right. He's nobody I should be in a long-term relationship with. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. You're not looking at this from all sides. You're only looking at it with one lens and the lens of longevity. And when you're in a dating situation trying to find the one, you're supposed to date different people. You don't just try to quote make it work just because you got somebody and you spend the time with them. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Question number 7. This is a male, 22 to 27. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the one I just read. The question number 8, female, 22 to 27 as well, Ontario, California. Summary of issue. I have a boyfriend who is never wrong. I'm a 25-year-old woman. I've been dating my boyfriend who's 29 for the past 4 months. One of the biggest challenges we've been facing is that he has this strong belief that he's never wrong. He tends to rely on every available argument and reason to support his view, no matter how minimal or insignificant the issue may be. It seems like almost everything we do or discuss turns into an argument, and he tends to blame me for initiating most of these disagreements, which makes me feel really frustrated and exhausted. What should I do or say? When he gets with talking, thinking he want to argue about somebody, just say, "Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. You ain't right. And no matter you arguing about it and stuff, it's gonna change my mind. It make me think that you're right. You're wrong. You're always wrong. I would just focus. You ain't been right since you were born. I would say stuff like that to him just because that's what I like to do. But you sit there and you listen to him instead of walking out of the room or telling him to shut up, hanging up the phone in his face. You know, turning your phone off so he can't text you anymore and just shut him down. That's the kind of stuff you have to do to people like this. You want to be right. It's like you can be right, but you're gonna be right by yourself because I'm not trying to hear all this shit. I'm sick of you. Like running your mouth and trying to prove that you so much a smarter and a genius and shit like over everybody else. Motherfucker, where's your Pulitzer Prize? You said you so smart and know every goddamn thing. Where is it? When did you win one? What did you win it in? So other than that, just shut up. You ain't special. I don't know. I can't really deal with these kind of people, so I'm not sure I can really give you the good answer other than just tell them to shut the fuck up and just tell them if you keep doing this, I'm breaking up with you. But that's how I would do it. But you sound like you want to stay in it because you've been dealing with this for so long, and you've been dealing with it for 4 months. You've been dealing with this for 4 months. I wouldn't have lasted with this shit 4 days. So you better than me. That's all I can say. Question number 9. It's a female, 28 to 34. She's white, Caucasian, European, I'm sorry, from Northampton, UK. Summary of issue. I'm dating a guy who's expecting a baby with someone else. Oh, hey, Candace, thank you for picking my letter. I really appreciate it because I'm getting so many different advices and quotes from family and friends. I am 33 and my boyfriend is 31. We've been together for a few months, and since we had our first date, I've always known that he was expecting his first child with someone he slept with twice. My understanding is that it was after he split from his long-term partner. Was it the woman was from a dating app and it was purely just physical? He's always wanted to be a dad and is really stepping up. He's got everything at his house for the baby and will be co parenting with this lady. She seems lovely from what he said. She knows about me. I've seen evidence of that, but I think she probably is very much in love with him. However, she hasn't been spiteful in any way, shape, or form. How could she be in love with him? Okay, I don't understand it. On the flip side, I have children with my ex-husband. We co-parent really well, and I can't have any more children due to a hysterectomy. I also don't actually want any more children, regardless of this. I'm happy to be a stepmom and have always seen that as a role I could uphold. I wouldn't expect due to how little we've known each other to be involved with the baby anytime soon, like he won't be for quite a while with my children. My two questions are these. Number one, has anyone ever written to you about going through this sort of thing? And number two, am I insane for considering this? Yeah, I recall getting several letters um, from women on this, who's going through something like this. Would I recommend this? Absolutely not. The reason I say that is because you're banking on a maybe. You're banking on, the fact that the relationship between him and this baby mama is going to stay the way that it is, and there's no guarantee of that. You also have to be prepared for the fact that, his life is going to change dramatically. He, being a first time father, doesn't understand how it's going to change, but you ought to have a clue about how it's going to change, and there may not be that much room for you in it. If there is, he may start dumping a lot of responsibility when it's his turn to take that baby on you. So, see, for me, in all aspects, there's the unknown is the baby mama, because you say, well, she's acting decent now. Once women have a kid, and then their kid is going to be taken care of by somebody else or be in an environment around people that they don't really know, a lot of women get stupid. I mean, rightly so. They want to protect their baby. It's like an innate thing, but they get kind of aggressive and a little loony, and so you might have a problem with that as well. So I'm trying to figure out, like, of all the benefits that you could get from a relationship, what are you thinking about? The responsibilities, physical, financial, and emotional, God, I was getting tongue tied, that he's going to have on him once the child is born. What is it that you think you're going to be getting out of a relationship, how much time and energy do you think he's going to have to give to you versus that which he needs to be using on that kid? That's what I think, you're caught up in the newness and the romanticness and the fantasy of it, but you need to think about the reality. What is this going to look like in real world, in real life? What do you think he going to be having time to spend looking at you? Unless you're over there sharing it, taking care of that damn baby, and it's going to be a new baby, and so it's going to be waking up 55 times a night. I, if I were you, I would back out of this and tell him, it's great that I wish you luck on your fatherhood journey, and send me a picture when once it's born, something like that, and I will boop deuced out. Let's move on. Question number 10. I think we got 20 questions. Yeah, Leandra, this is like these women. I don't know. Once they have a baby, they just get weird. I wouldn't want to be bothered. Female, 22 to 27, from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Summary of issue: I'm struggling to set boundaries with my boyfriend. My boyfriend I met while I was in college, around maybe 2 years ago. We've had our struggles like any couple, but we've made it work even when things got really difficult. My boyfriend has been dealing with unemployment for over a year now and often relies on me for rent, herbalicious, and vape money. Okay, I'm trying to figure out why somebody needs to be doing all of that when they don't have no job. All right, at first it wasn't a big issue, but I think at this point I'm enabling him. He has no drive to do anything anymore. Of course he doesn't. That's what I was saying a little bit earlier about the herbalicious. It does that to a lot of people. I feel like I pull out all the stops to try to get him in a good mood, ready to tackle the day, and all he ever wants to do is cuddle and watch TV. I don't know how to say no to him. I don't know how to lay down my boundaries. He wants to commit and settle down together, but he hasn't managed to find a job for the past year and he's been searching. Well, how hard has he been searching? Because every fast food restaurant in the world is begging for people to go work there. I think he's lying. I just fear now that college is over and we're living in separate towns, maybe the best thing to do is end it. I can't see a future with him, not with how immature he's been lately. But when I did try to break up with him, he talked me out of it. I felt so full of pity that I took back everything I said. I need help. No, you don't need help. You need a fucking spine. I mean, I don't even understand why this is a conversation that we're having. But the first time he asked me for help from for all these bills and stuff, I said, you need to ask your parents or somebody like that that cares. And if you can't pay your bills like that, then maybe you need to move back home with your parents. Because I can't help you. I can't afford to support a grown man. You're not my husband. And that's what I would have told him. Especially you giving him money for herbs and vape. What are you doing? Somebody with no job don't need to be doing all that. He needs to be looking for work. And he can't do that clear-headed when he's, under the influence like that. These women, I just don't I just don't get it. I don't understand what they be thinking. I mean, it's like, okay, what are you getting out of this relationship? Look at the video series I have on this channel called What's in It for Me. You need to look at that and ask yourself those questions. I think it's two parts. And because women need to be a lot more pragmatic when they talk about a relationship. You don't just be in a relationship just to point to some vertical body and say that's my boyfriend. He's supposed to be bringing something to your life, supposed to be enriching your world in some way. He's like making you feel better, supporting you and stuff. He can't do nothing for you because he can't even do nothing for himself right now. If he ever did. So, your parents, what are these parents doing with these girls? Not teaching them anything about how you pick a man who's going to be good for you. If he ain't bringing shit to your world and making your life better, then you don't need him. Okay? You should not be taking care of a man, cleaning up after him, and doing all this kind of stuff like that. What is he doing for you? Girl, this is a hot mess. Please leave this fool. Just block him. You don't need to argue with him about it. And understand when you break up with somebody, you don't need their approval and you don't need their acceptance or their buy-in. You just say, "Well, I'm leaving you, and this shit here is over." And they can say, "Well, no, no, no." Say, "Oh, well, let me just press this block button right here." And that's what you're doing, and you're going with your life. It's not hard. Question number 11. female, 22 to 27, from Ontario, Canada. Certain issue. I watched your videos on ghosting and I saw the comments from people who are upset. And I want to share why I ghost. Oh, okay, like a side story. What? See, I can't do it. I'll be smoking nothing. She says, basically, I ghost people because I don't know how to say, quote, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm just not feeling it, end quote. I hate that I do this, but sometimes I just go quiet on people, not because they were rude or toxic or crossed some big line. In fact, they were usually perfectly nice. That's what makes it harder. I just wasn't feeling connected to them in any way. And I don't know how to say that without sounding cold or making them feel rejected. So instead of being open and honest, I just disappear. Let the messages sit I just stop responding. Hope that it fades out quietly. I know that sucks. I've been on the receiving end of it too. It leaves you confused, wondering what you did wrong, when really the other person just didn't know how to explain their own feelings. I guess now I'm the one doing that. It's not personal, but I guess it kind of is. It's about me not being able to handle this discomfort of disappointing someone who didn't technically do anything wrong. Saying I'm not feeling it feels harsh, even if it's the truth. I wish I was better at giving that kind of closure, but I honestly freeze up every time I try. I just wanted people who hate to be ghosted to understand the feelings of the person who ghosts and why they do it. Well, thank you. I gave them my version of it, but mine wasn't the sensitive one like yours, where you're saying you don't know how to say it. I very well know how to say it, but I just don't want to because I don't want to deal with what comes after that, which is the begging and the, oh, I can make it work. I can change. Don't leave me. Why? What did I do wrong? I'll stop doing it. I don't want to hear none of that. I made that mistake once. And then, you hear it, so that's why I know all the stuff that they say. I only had to hear that one time. And after that, I just ghost people. I don't want to hear none of that. And I'm also not responsible for your closure. Like I said, you give yourself closure. No, I'm not responsible for your closure. No one else is responsible for your closure. You do decide that the closure, that the relationship's over, and then it's closed, and that's it, and that's all. So I'm not feeling it. Doesn't feel harsh. It's just, it's the truth. It's just like, sometimes I don't know, you go shopping for a car. I mean, all the cars are made by Honda, so they're all good cars. But you look at it, you drive, test drive it, you sit in the car, you drive the car, you handle the car, see how the car handles all some stuff. And then you already know the car didn't do anything wrong. Car is a perfect car. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's functional. It's gonna do everything it needs to do for somebody else. Because that ain't what I'm looking. It wasn't a good fit for me. And that's all that it is in dating. It's nothing to take personally. And so people who get all in their feelings because somebody doesn't want to be with them, I mean, you need to grow the fuck up. It's not that serious. Especially when you only went out on a date or two with them. My God, these people just be doing the most. Question number 12. This is a female, 20 to 34. She's Latina from Salinas, California. Hold on a second. Long story short, I recently kind of got back together with someone after we had been fighting for 2 to 3 weeks. The issue was lack of communication and lack of effort unrelated to his kid. He begged for another chance, so now we are in a limbo of him trying to fix it and me being hesitant. Wasting your time. We talked a little about it, and I explained I understand things are difficult right now because he is working overnight and he has a toddler. I told him that even if I had to wake up at 6 or 7 when he gets off and we just talk for a bit on his way to or from work, that would be okay. Even if I just took a nap with him after work so we could spend time together, that would be okay with as well. He asked me to come over after his shift and just nap with him, and I agreed. I woke up in the middle of the night and we talked for a bit, and he said, I need to see you. And I said, I thought I was seeing him in 2 or 3 hours, but he said he might have to go get his son instead. Now, here is the question. How do we navigate this? His son is his top priority, and that doesn't bother me because he should be. And I honestly can't respect a man that put me before his child, even if they were both ours. But this isn't the first time it has happened, and I'm wondering how you advise other people to approach this. It's usually never anything serious or urgent, just the mother of his child getting mad, his words, and saying that he has to come get the baby even though 2 hours ago she had planned on keeping him. I haven't met the kid yet, so I assume that it'll get easier when he feels comfortable enough to introduce us and we can do things or all hang out together. I'm not pushing that subject either. It has to be whenever he's ready and comfortable. Do we just leave things open and spontaneous? Would it be unfair to ask him for maybe 1 or 2 days a month that he for sure sticks to an emergency unless an emergency or an event comes up? In advance plans have gotten canceled at the last minute. I don't want to put extra stress or pressure on him, but I don't know how else to stay connected with him and feel cared about when he understandably always has something come up. Well, my dear, you haven't accepted yet that you're just the side chick. You're the side chick. He ain't no single father. He's in a relationship with the baby mama, and you know they don't live together though. But he's still dealing with that. There's no way that you have set visitation schedule that somebody could call you in the middle of the night and you gonna jump up and go over there to her house if that ain't your chick. See where I'm going with this? This she doesn't understand it though. Where he keeps blowing her off for this other woman and using the kid as an excuse. That's what that is. So I want you to stop thinking about him, move on from this, because you don't say how old the child is. I mean, if the woman maybe she just you say toddler, huh? Well, anyway, whatever it is, he's still dealing with the chick, and that's why you get sidelined so often, and with no notice. When she wants him, he has to be over there. So that's how that's why that's happening. Okay, do with that what you will. Question number 13. Female, 28 to 34, from Springfield, Missouri. So I have issue. This is a what would Deb do question. I need to know if I was wrong for cutting off my brother after he told my adopted son that he's not my real child. Wow. What is it tonight with these adults doing egregious things to little kids? It's like emotionally abusing children. What the fuck is all of this? Deb, I found out I was unable to have children, so I adopted my son 3 years ago when he was 6. He's 9 now and finally feels safe and loved after being in horrible foster care situations. My family's been mostly supportive except for my older brother. Let's call him Fulio. I know Candace changed that because that's the name that we use when people are stupid. We call him Fulio, who's always made weird comments about adoption. At my dad's birthday, my son was showing Fulio a drawing of our family. Fulio looked at him and told him that I wasn't his real family. My son just went quiet. He looked heartbroken. I told Fulio to stay away from us and left. I haven't spoken to him since. I told my parents I won't bring my son around someone who would say something so cruel to a child. Now my mom says I'm overreacting and that Fulio didn't mean it like that. She wants me to forgive him for the sake of family unity, but to me that line does not get crossed. What should I do? Okay, you should go over to the house by yourself while the kid is in school or somewhere safely ensconced where he won't hear what you gonna do. And you gonna go in there and you're gonna blow your mama and your brother's hair back. You're gonna say, when you have a kid and it's your what you call your real kid, that's a fucking accident. You don't get to, there's no choice involved. You take what you get. I went and I picked him. He was hand selected by me because I wanted to be his mother and he wanted me to be I wanted him to be my son and he wanted me to be his mother. We chose each other. It was with intent. So this relationship is better and stronger and more real than anything that you could pop out. Okay, do you feel obligated to be with somebody just because you birthed them? We chose each other. So that's much stronger bond than any shit that you could be talking about. Secondly, motherfucker, if you ever say anything like that to my child again, I'm gonna go and hire some guys to beat the shit out of you until you end up in a hospital with every bone possible broken. I want you to understand. You better keep your goddamn mouth in check. And I would mean it too. Then, but where you really messed up is I know you were upset. But this thing that I'm telling, which you should have said when he said he's not your real family and the little boy, you were supposed to step up at that moment while all ears were open, everybody was looking, and say, I am his real family. Under the law, I'm just as much his mother and he's just as much my son as anything that popped out your raggedy ass dick. And so I want you to apologize. You apologize to him right now. If you don't apologize to him, I'm going to sue you for child abuse. Yeah, say, Raul and them need to go over there and have a conversation with dude. But but your mother needs to hear that too. Say, don't you ever side with him against my son or me. The second you do that, and then you showing more concern for his fucking ass and his abuse of a child than you do the child, mother, our relationship will be severed. I want you to fucking understand. I'm taking this very seriously. You telling me that is it for the sake of the family? Fuck this family. You don't have a sense of family. If I chose this child to be his mother, and you gonna sit up there and tell him that it's not his real family, then motherfucker, you don't even understand what family is. And so I could just bow the fuck out of this shit right here because it don't mean nothing. You don't even understand what family is, and there's no point in me wasting my time or energy or love on the likes of you. Whew. See, that's when I wish there was a way for me to, like, jump in somebody's body right quick and take over and blow folks' hair back and then jump back out and go back into my body. That would just be so ideal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have lost my one of my brothers did some shit like that. But my family already knows I'm crazy, so nobody would ever. They might think it. They would think it, but they would know better than to say it because they would, this would activate like Power Rangers. Activate, and it would be all bad after that. But no, you're not gonna abuse no child of mine, any child I know, any child I'm affiliated with, any child that lives next door to me, any child I'm babysitting, any child I'm sitting next to on the bus. You're not gonna do it. It's not gonna that Leo thing. We protect stuff. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, my brothers. Mm-mm. I stopped talking to my own mother for some years after she did some shit I didn't like and said something I didn't to my daughter that I didn't like. I checked her ass and then I put her ass in the corner on the timeout for 5 years. She did not. I didn't talk to her ass. She didn't know what to do. She didn't understand. I'm like, oh no, I never want to cuss around or nothing because it's my mama. But one thing I was not gonna do is tolerate her silliness, her bullshit. It's like, you lost your mind right quick. My brother's like, oh, this and that. You could call her. Her hands ain't broken. Although I wouldn't accept her to call, but you know what I mean. I'd call. Yeah, I have very clear boundaries, very strong boundaries, and there's just certain shit you just not gonna do, and I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not gonna do it. Be my own parents. I don't give a damn. It's the same rules apply to your asses that apply to everybody else. You are not gonna disrespect me. And so she found out. Question number 14. This is a female, 35 to 41, from Nottingham, England. Summary of issue. How many women do you think have thought about switching to dating women because they're fed up with men, if they were never attracted to women before? Well, how many women do I think? I don't have a thought there. I don't know. I'm sharing a bit of my story to see if anyone out there listening can relate. In a nutshell, I'm in my 40s and have been legally married for 23 years. Since the beginning, he's lied, cheated, gaslighted, or is it gaslit, manipulated, and all the other red flags except for physical abuse. And yet, you stayed. I married young because my family pushed it, and my mom said, somebody's getting married because I have already spent a lot of money. This is after we were engaged, and I found a lot of awful things about him, so I tried calling it off. But because of my family still pushing it to happen, and mostly because of my mom, I couldn't pay her back at the time. I went on and went through with it. I later found out that he had a girlfriend on our wedding day, along with a bunch of other crap. I had two small children when we met. We married and moved 1,800 miles away from our home. I kept saying I'll leave once the kids graduate from high school. Well, that time has long passed. We still live together, but we haven't even shared a bedroom in over 10 years. I know that all men aren't the same, but everything in my personal life, examples I see from family and friends, online posts, and things I see on TV, totally put me off from men. I had given up and I figured I'd just be happy with kids and dogs, but they grow up and pass away or move away. I'm human though, and I've become lonely. I used to joke that because of how different we are, men should be with men and women with women. Well, we was having that conversation on my community wall about how many men are dabbling into the man and man situation. It's just the numbers. I mean, they like something about, I guess, that prostate thing. They just be just loving that shit. So they end up getting with, other dudes. And even the ones that have a woman that they're using for cover, she's like their beard and they be dabbling with dudes on on the under. So I think you're right there. I mean, that's what seems to be happening. I always said I wished I liked women so I could be in a happy relationship, but I never thought it'd actually be an option for me. Well, I'm ready to move on and actually date again. I really think I'd be happier with a woman than a man, but I've never dated women before. Has anyone who decided to switch teams because they were fed up ever written to you for advice? I can't recall, but do y'all remember? I mean, you guys tend to remember stuff better than I do. I don't remember that, but maybe I don't know. Um, do you think a woman who has been heterosexual can find love and happiness in a same-sex relationship, or do they come with just as many problems? Well, I'm going to say this. Growing up in San Francisco, you see everything, everything. And I'm not gonna, relationships are between people. What they do in their bedroom, privacy of their bedroom, I don't know if that really matters. When you're talking about the relationship part, it's like, do you have a connection with that person? And I think I'm just, inferring from what you're talking about, the happiness part. That's an emotional thing that you're looking for. You're looking for some of my, for an emotional connection with someone to feel supported and loved and, desired and taken care of and, have someone that you can communicate with and understand you and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm getting from what you wrote there. Not to mention you said that you were also lonely. So, um, oh no, Michelle said that she hasn't, but some of her friends have gone to the other side. And I know, you know who I know? Remember Niecy Dash? She was married to a man at one point. This was, in case you don't know her, you could probably look her up on the internet. She was a TV star in some series that was real popular for a while. And after the series ended, she was married to a man, and then I don't know what happened, but somehow she started dating a woman, and then she fell in love with the late. I mean, they got married. In California, you could do that. They got married, and ain't heard a peep out of it. Every time I see a picture of her, since then she grinning out 900 teeth showing. So I mean, something's going on good because she seems to be happy. Um, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the women that I know that are in relationship with other women. I mean, yeah, they all. I mean, there's arguments, there's confusions, there's frustration. I mean, they fight just like any other couple about different things, but all in all, they all seem to be, pretty happy people in their relationship. And some of them, they've been together for 20, 30 years, long time, 10, 15. I mean, depending on their age. I mean, but it's long-term relationships that they're in. I don't really know what to say. As you can tell, I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, because I don't really know what to say. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to show some of y'all's comments. Some women are happier leaving men behind. Yeah. Leandra says some women are more expensive. 3 jobs is fair. Oh no. Well, see, no, I wouldn't do all that. But see, that's what I mean. I think people, no matter, like I said few minutes ago, no matter what they decide to do in their bedroom, are still they're people, and they're whoever their personality is, the way they communicate, how they behave, what their goals and values are, and all that kind of stuff. Those are the important things that need to be in alignment. It doesn't matter. I mean, exclusive of whether they're gay or lesbian or straight. Those things need to be in alignment for it to be a good relationship. So, don't just look at the sexual aspect of it, look at the person and, use the same vetting process that you would use in dating a man. The person you guys got to be in sync. You got to be on the same page. And so, think about that, because I'm sure you could run into some women that you'd be like, oh, hell to the no, just like you would with a man, because, some of these chicks are just loony. I don't understand it. So as you see, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, but I just see it like that because when they write to column, I don't specialize in, you know, um, gay and lesbian relationship. But if I leave that part out and I concentrate on the relationship aspect that they're writing to me about, I can answer their question because it's human, it's heart, it's a connectedness, and that is the same no matter what your sexual orientation is. You got to connect to somebody heart to heart, mind to mind. Oh, see, she said she loves it. Well, yeah, that's I know that first physical part. I have a friend that she's showed with black eyes at work at the law firm, and her lies would be, well, I bumped into, I'm so clumsy, I walked into the wall at night, and she had all these excuses, but her girlfriend used to beat her ass. So like I said, it's just a people thing. It don't really matter about that other stuff. Question number 15. This is a male 28 to 34 from New Orleans, Louisiana. Females also 28 to 34. Summary of issue. Engagement ended. Now she wants to try again. Me and my fiance, both 29, were engaged. Things were good at first, but once it came time to book venues, DJs, etc., money started getting tight on my end. She was making more than me. And then things changed. We found a venue that she fell in love with, and after some back and forth, we signed a contract, even though I couldn't afford it. I had a raise coming though, and we were planning to move to a new area outside the city to lower our living costs. We figured she'd handle the deposits, and once my raise kicked in, I'd catch up and we split everything 50-50. But things started getting stressful and we eventually broke up. After the breakup, it's been a mess. Blocked, unblocked, yelled at each other, then reblocked. Honestly, super immature. About a month later, I moved to a new apartment, went on the swipey thing, got drunk a lot, and started hooking up with people. Not my best decisions, I admit. A couple of months afterwards, she started calling me drunk, saying she missed me. I'd gotten sober, pulled myself together, and started moving on. So I told her it wasn't a good idea for us to get back together. Fast forward to this week. It would have been our 2-year anniversary. And I decided I'd go out and have a drink. While I was at the bar, she called and we ended up meeting up. We started talking about how we missed each other, and somehow that conversation led to talking about maybe starting fresh. But here's where it gets tricky. She asked me if I had slept with anyone while we were broken up. I was honest, you fool, and said yes. Then I asked her, did you? And she said no. I don't know why, but something felt off. So I asked again later, and she admitted that she had kissed someone. Then later, she admitted that she slept with a guy, and I found out it was an old coworker of hers who slid into her DMs when we broke up. From what I gathered, the DMs came through while our engagement pictures were still up, but I'm not sure how long they were up. Now here's my problem. I'm not mad at because she slept with somebody because I did the same thing. But I'm frustrated because she lied so many times when I directly asked her. Why did it take 5 attempts to get the truth? She's now saying I'm being a jerk because I don't trust her. But honestly, why would I trust her after all the dishonesty? Am I overreacting for getting upset? Yes, you are. And you just a fucking asshole. And let me tell you why. And she's stupid. So you an asshole and she's a dumb broad. Okay. So the two of you together is a bad combination. It's a good thing you didn't get married. First of all, when you broke up with somebody and you talking to them, and one thing that you should never ask them is, did you sleep with somebody while we was broken up? Because what she was supposed to tell you, that's none of your fucking business. I'm not gonna ask you, and you're not gonna ask me, and shut that shit down. But instead, like a dummy, she answered, and like an idiot, you asked her. So both of you are stupid. That's what I say, two stupid people. I'm like, Michelle, was that girl? I don't know how to do. I just have to be myself. But I'm reading the comments. Like, yeah, they over here going crazy. I was reading the comments from the last show. I was rolling. Y'all was on one. Some of those comments you guys are making at me screaming. But This is just inappropriate. I mean, both of you were wrong. So now you both of you got your feelings hurt. And so there you go. I don't have nothing to add to this. And but yeah, you were crazy to get upset because the question your stupid ass should have never asked her in the first place. So you got some your emotions hurt, and that's what you should have got for having a big mouth. Question number 16. This is a young lady, 22 to 27, from Brandon, Florida. Sorry issue, ladies. Have you also noticed this dating pattern, or am I the only one? Men seem to try really hard at the beginning. They seem consistent and attentive at first. But the moment I let my guard down and open up emotionally, they start taking me for granted. I've seen this pattern over and over through the years amongst my dates and my friends. Is this something women older than us, we are 20, 24, 25, have also gone through? Is this new behavior? When does it stop? How should women deal with this? I want you to go and get Sherry Argoff's book, Why Men Love Bitches. This book was written like, I don't know, 25 years ago or something, but the concept is the same. Men cannot appreciate a woman who is too nice. If you are nice to them all the time, they walk all over you. They can't help it. It's their nature. Men are hunters. They like, they have to be in pursuit mode. So in order to get the best out of them, they have to be always chasing. You have to be a little bit out of reach. Like when you running in the field, you know how they dodge and the people trying to touch, where they get to touch you, or maybe you touch them sometimes, and then the rest of the time you're like blowing them off and being a little distant and making them work to get your attention. They have to work. Unless you're their wife or something, then maybe you might relax a little bit more. But while you're just in the dating phase, you don't be giving them all your time and attention. They will, oh, I want to come over. Nope, I'm busy. Well, what are you doing? None of your business. Well, are you going to be with your friends? What part of not your business did you not understand? You need me to send you in smoke signals? Pigeon. I mean, what you need for you to get it? That's none of your business. You ain't my husband. I'm not checking in with you like that. I need to go. Well, can I spend the night? No, I got to get up early tomorrow. You need to leave. That kind of stuff. Instead of being, he wants you to come over to his place and it's late at night and you're already tired. You tell him I'm tired. I'm going to bed and I'm turning my phone off. Don't bother me. And stuff like that. You don't just because he wants you to do something, you don't always do it. I say 90% of the time you don't do it. Then he'll be so happy with that 10% he won't know what to do. But most of y'all are the opposite. You give 99% and feel guilty when you turn them down to 1%. I tell people at, different jobs and they have them games where they say, well, what's your favorite word? Mine was always no and free. Those are my two favorite words. Because I would say no in heartbeat. I mean, no, I'm not doing it. No, you ain't coming over here. No, I'm not giving it to you. No, I'm not doing that for you. No, 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 no. And I just love it. It's just, then you can conjugate it with hell no and hell to the no and fuck no when I look like no. All them kind of things you can add to it and embellish it and make it sound better. You can say no. Change your voice and, you know, jump up and say no, fly around and say no. You can just make it just so interesting to say no in so many different ways. But one thing that most women don't do is say no to men. You don't say no to them. Well, maybe I don't know. Let me think about it. Well, okay. Just sounding all weak. Men don't appreciate and respect weakness. Whereas somewhere that y'all need to understand that. So go find a copy of Sherry Argos. Sherry and her last name is Argoff, Argov. I'm not getting any benefits from this, but you need to understand. It's an old book, probably written before most of y'all was even born, and it's called Why Men Love Bitches. The book was translated into like 150 languages. Women all over the world was reading that book. But since y'all came out before y'all, were born, you don't know anything about it. And so you behave in these crazy ways with these men and let them walk all over you and let them just, command your life and run you. Oh, I wish I would let a man tell me something. They'll be trying to, don't even ask me no questions about who's on my goddamn phone. Who you talking to? None of your goddamn business. Well, damn, why you have to talk to me like that? Because you asking questions, you out of pocket. You don't do you pay this bill? If you paid the bill, then you would know who's on the phone because you can go on the phone log. But since you ain't paying, then you don't need to know. Oh boy. Dang. He probably was scared because you. Well, yeah, I do that when when you die. This is what I used to do when I was younger and silly. Um, Guys would ask me about. They want to know about the dude that you dated before. My stand okay, the first, first time or two, I was like, that don't even sound like a sensible question to be asking nobody. But I say, oh, he was cool, he was nice, that's why we dated. Some vague shit. But then after that, I said, why did this motherfucker ask me about another dude? So then I would say, well, why are you asking? Do you want to date him? You want me to give you his number? No, no, I was just curious. Well, see, I don't understand why another man be curious about another dude. What I mean, that don't even sound right. So, I would say it was sounding like you were, you know, on the gay side, but I would allude to it. They quickly shut the fuck up. They won't be asking me nothing about no dude after that because they say, "Oh, this bitch is crazy. She gonna be having everybody thinking I'm trying to get with her ex if I keep going down this line of thinking." And that's what I wanted them to do. Don't ask me shit like that. That's none of your goddamn business. I'm not asking about them hoes that you was with. I don't care. They was before me. If they was that great, you still be with her ass. So I mean, why I need to ask about her? I don't care. I'm just you and your mom had honey. I interviewed her on my blog talk show. I used to have a lot of really good guests on that show. And she was funny as hell. We got along really great because we think exactly alike. And everything that she wrote in that book, I had said in one way or another, on my big blogs and stuff. But she consolidated into a book and just made a grip. But the concepts about, self-preservation, respecting yourself, and definitely staying with your program, been preaching that shit since the early 90s. But, so when people want to hear it, I just give them, tell them go read that book. You can find it at some used bookstore or something, I'm sure. It may even still be able to download it off of Amazon. I don't know. But whatever it is, the situation, y'all need to read that shit. Can't tell be all nice to me, and they don't understand nice. Nice doesn't work. I found that out. All right. So, yeah. So, young lady, did you say, is this new behavior? No. I think we just find out more about it and they can do more about it because now they have the internet. When does it stop? I don't know. That's why we call it the representative. So for the first 90 days, you usually see his representative. 'Cause like I said, men can pretty much hold their shit together for about 3 months. They ain't gonna be Mr. Johnny on the spot, Mr. Perfect. Around that 91st day, though, shit starts falling apart. Certainly by the time they reach the 4 month mark, you get to see the fool because he can't do it no more. He can't front no more. So you get to see, all his stupidity come rolling out. Oh yeah, the rules. But I didn't like that book. And all three of them chicks ended up divorced. So oh, them rules obviously don't work. But being I mean, if you're like, well, I don't want to be a bitch, you better be one. You either be a bitch or you be a fucking doormat. Which one do you prefer? Just pick one, because those are the only two ways women, yeah. Because I interviewed them too. I interviewed them as well. There you go. Yeah. I could like when we was dating, he came and drank up all my juice. Just sitting there drinking the whole bottle of this juice, this what I forgot. Oh, Kerns. No, that's what he used to do. What did I have? I had some kind of fresh pressed juice that I got at Whole Foods. And that's the stuff that used to cost a grip, right? And I would have like one little 4 ounce glass a day. And that would stay on my budget, but I could have my juice, in the morning and stuff. I'd have my coffee, my juice, and my oatmeal and my boiled egg. Okay, that was my breakfast. And he came, and this client, and we had just started dating. He sat there and drank my whole bottle of juice. I lost my mind. I cussed his fucking ass out. And we had only been dating about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I told him, you're the most selfish, most disrespectful, inconsiderate fucker. How you just gonna sit there and just drink up all of it? Like, you didn't even ask me if I had some more, if I even had any. You just taking it, be so selfish, think only about your goddamn self. Get out. I tossed his ass up out of there. And so then he was just like looking at me like, because it was like the physical look like if it had been some wind, it was enough his hair blowing back in the breeze because I was hot. And then, because then now I'm deprived, because I can't make it to Whole Foods during the week. I mean, it just was going to be a whole thing. I had to wait till the weekend to go back and get me some more. So he came to my house a couple of days later. He's like, "Can you call them? Like, can I come over?" And I was like, "What you trying to come over here for?" "Oh, I have a gift for you." I was like, "Hmm." So he came in. He had like 3 bottles of my juice, and he had several cases of Kern's nectar, which is what he used to drink. He said, "Is it all right if I leave these here?" I said, "So you saying that you're gonna be coming back and this is what you're gonna be drinking?" He's like, "Yeah, if you let me." I said, "All right, this is what I'm talking about. Don't you ever do any shit like that to me again. You either ask me or if you want something and you're gonna want to drink a whole bottle of it, you better walk in the fucking door with it. I don't have a budget to be feeding you like that." And honey, that was it. That I never had to tell him again. And every time he came to my house, he would call, like, "Do you want something? I'm at the store. I can stop at the store. What you need? What you want? Baby, 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 please." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." Yeah, you don't give a shit about that. I wish I would care about him thinking that I'm mean. Yeah, I mean, I'll kick your fucking ass about that. You just, oh yeah, he got chewed out. He's just like, "I never had a woman tell me something like that." I said, "Yeah, 'cause they weak." But I'm not, drinking my $8, whatever it was at the time, it was high. Maybe it was $5. But we're talking years ago, we're talking about in the, late in the 90s. And this motherfucker gonna be sitting up there drinking my juice like that. Oh no. So anyway, let's move on. Question 17. She's a female, 20 to 34. From Long Beach, California. Summary issue: I refuse to change my work from home schedule to babysit my sister's kids, and she is pissed. How do I fix this? I'm 28 and I work full time remote in a pretty demanding role. My sister is 32, never married, but she just had her third kid and is overwhelmed. Well, bitch, don't know how to, as they say, close your legs. Totally get that. 3 kids sounds like an actual hell to me, LOL. But she's starting asking me more and more to just watch the kids for a few hours during my workday, like while I'm literally supposed to be working. It started small. Can you just keep an eye on them while I shower real quick? But now it's escalated to, can you take them to the park or can they just hang out with you for the afternoon? And when I say I can't because I'm working, she throws out a guilt trip like, "Well, you're at home anyway, or you just sit at a laptop all day. How hard is that?" Last week, I finally told her that I can't be the default childcare just because I work from home. She got super cold and told our mom that I'm being selfish and I don't understand what real responsibility is. Our mom thinks I should help out more as family since I don't have children, and apparently that means I have unlimited free time. Now I feel guilty as hell, but I'm also really angry. I'm not choosing Netflix over her kids. I'm literally trying to do my job. What should I say? Oh, let me tell you how this would have been if it was me. Now, obviously, you're much more polite than me. Because when she talking about when I can't because I'm working. Well, you're home anyway. And you said, "Well, how hard is that?" Well, why don't you try doing it? It's called working. Why don't you do that instead of laying up with various miscellaneous stray motherfuckers having baby after baby after baby? And you want to talk about responsibility, bitch? Why don't you use some fucking birth control? Well, that would be being responsible. You want to keep having fucking babies and trying to dump them off on somebody else to take care of them nappy-headed rugrats. I'm not doing it. I don't really give a shit what happens. If you can't take care of your kids, believe me, you walk out the door and leave me with them, I'm going to come have CPS come pick them little bitches up. You won't have shit and you won't have to be worried about it no more. And mama, the same thing gonna go to you. I'm not taking care of her kids. She the one that laid up there and fucking made them. It's her responsibility. You want to step up and do it, then you do it. I'm not doing it. And then I go in my room and slam the door. Now see how quickly I did it. How long was that? That was it like a 30-second speech. And you would have them both sitting there like, because they wouldn't be able to believe that you said that. But when you have people like this that try to, gang up on you, tell you, trying to make you do something, guilt trip you into doing it, that's how you have to come at them. You can't be polite. You can't be nice. You can't be sweet and all this stuff. That's not audacity. That's called nigacity. Because they are in Long Beach. I already know. This, I already know what this is all about. If they're having 3 goddamn kids, I'll be like, bitch, close your legs. That's what you need to do. Be responsible for the fact that you keep reproducing with dusties. Otherwise, the daddies would be able to come get them. But you just want to keep having baby after baby with a fool and then trying to make it somebody else's problem. Fuck out of here with that shit. See, I would hurt her feelings, so she wouldn't ask me for nothing. She would probably not even talk to me, and that would be great. I'd be okay with that. But you working, why don't you move out? You got you a studio apartment. You can set a corner up to your work corner, and then move out. You don't need to live there with them. You tripping? That's what you really need to do. Question number 18. This is a male, 35 to 41, from Manchester, England. Sorry, issue: how to bring up my mother. My father died when I was 17. My mother's emotionally unstable. She was usually very distant when I needed support and usually very clingy when I distanced myself. And I tolerated abuse towards her and her family, my siblings and I, by my father and stepfather. Okay, I can imagine what this is all about. I've since cut her off because I can't forgive her for the abuse that she facilitated and encouraged, and engaging with her ruins my peace. Before I acknowledged the situation, I had a close relationship with her. I'm an emotional and passionate guy and felt deeply misunderstood by every man in my life, and she was the only other emotionally expressive person in my life who I felt understood my emotions and passion. We had many wonderful memories. For example, she got me into poetry at 9 when we would write poems together. When a date in the early stages asked about my relationships with my parents, what do you think I should say? Oh, this is thank you for explaining it, though. You did a good job of making things succinct, but giving me the information that I need to give you some good advice back. What you're supposed to do is, you're dating the early stage and somebody asks about your relationship with your parents, which I think is kind of an odd question, but I guess if you're dating weirdos and they want to ask about your parents, then you would say, oh, we'll talk about that at some other point because right now you should be concentrating on getting to know me. That's what I would say. Or I would say they're both deceased. Not much to talk about there. And then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they'll shut up. Or you could say, "My father's deceased and my mother remarried, and I don't really see her that much." Something like that, and leave it at that. But really, it's really not people's business to be, you early just met somebody, and I don't understand why somebody would come in the door asking about your parents like that. I've never done that. Ask somebody about their parents. I mean, outside of high school, maybe. We're all still living at home. I can't see any reason why an adult would need to ask you about your parents. Except maybe like, you get in your 50s and 60s and are your parents still alive? That might be, a question like, yeah, they still living or one is or whatever. But, asking details about your parents like that, I just don't understand. Oh, dang, Michelle, that's a lot of kids. Oh, like that's too much. Mm-mm. The only couple of times my relatives used to ask me to babysit, I made them pay me in advance. I made them pay me in advance. They're like, "Well, I want you to come and watch my kids." I'll come, but you gonna give me the money first. And they're like, well, and then I would tell my mother, fathers, like they didn't pay, they stayed later, they owe me this and that, and my father would make them pay. But oh yeah, I always had my money before they walked out the door. No, we ain't paying that. When I get back shit, give me my money now. So that's my most of my relatives, and the fact that I charged them, and I charged them top rate too. They didn't really want. They used to not ask me to babysit, and that was fine. Be bothered with them little clowns anyway, little demon spawns. Question number 19. Male, 28 to 34, from Little Rock, Arkansas. Summary of issue. Tell me some cute ways that a guy can hit on a woman in a grocery store. I've seen a lot of posts all over the web by women who casually refer to hoping a man hits on them in the grocery store, which got me to wondering, what are some cute ways a woman would actually want to be hit on in the grocery store by an attractive man that would motivate a positive response? Y'all respond to that. Okay, let me read that part again so y'all can think about that and type your responses in. What are some cute ways a woman would actually want to be hit on in the grocery store by an attractive man that would motivate a positive response? What kind of ideas come to mind if this were to happen? If you have a comment, please put it in the chat. I'm curious as a single man who would happily hit on a woman at the grocery store, but wants to avoid being weird or creepy or being too direct because as of right now, the only thing I can think of is being pretty forward or direct because I don't just follow someone looking for opportunities to talk to them. That's hella weird, in my opinion. Thanks in advance. That's very true. You don't follow them around like a fucking stalker, peeping between the canned goods and stuff. That's not gonna work. But I can tell you what I did. Okay, one day I'll never forget this. But this little dude was fine. He was with his mother though, and he was, he was young, but he was probably, I don't know, I'd say maybe in his 30s, and I was about 40 at the time. So it wasn't like a huge age gap or nothing, but oh, he was cute. This little white boy was cute, tall, and had the little, the little goatee thing I like, and he had his hair and a little man bun ponytail thing going on, and he was tall, right? And I'm short, and so I'm looking at the stuff on the top shelf, and I'm thinking, this is my excuse to talk to him. So I go up to him, I tap, tap, tap on the shoulder, and he turns and he looks down because I'm short. And then he's like, yes. I said, I need your height to get me something that's on that top shelf. So he laughs and he comes over. He's like, what is it that you want? So I point to it. And he reaches and he gets it down for me. He says, oh, this is, he's looking at it, right? He's like, what are you going to make with that? And I started telling him what I was going to cook with it and stuff. And I'm going, I'm embellishing to make it sound all fabulous and everything because I'm waiting for him to say, "Oh, that sounds good. Can you, what did you think about inviting me over for dinner?" And I would have said, "Yeah, here go my phone number. Let's hook that up." But then his mother rounded the corner, and he had brought her grocery shopping, so she had the cart. He was just he would just happen to be wandering through the aisles, just looking at stuff. And she rounded around and she saw him talking to me, so she came over. And she's, giving me the look, and I'm looking, I'm like, who is you? And so he introduced her and introduced me. And, so that's how things ended. There was no opportunity to get a phone number or anything. But I think, saying you want, asking someone if they know if they cook and asking them for suggestions of what to do with, say, you got chicken, is there anything I could do besides baking it or frying it? Do you have any ideas for a good recipe? Maybe I could go and find one on the web if you don't have give me some ideas about what might be good. That's one way to start a conversation. Um, Sometimes guys, just tell a woman that, she's looks, they like her smile or her eyes or something like that. Stay away from her figure, her booty, or anything like that. You want to, her face, something about her face. That's always safe. Her earrings, something like that. So you could just say, "Oh, would you mind telling me where you got those earrings so I could get a pair for my sister? Her birthday's coming up, and I think she would really like those." Something like that. And then, they might want to talk to you, and you can chit chat. Yeah, my sister. She's this and that, blah 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 blah. And blah and you start talking about that, and I don't know. It just could, if the person has time, it could segue into a little conversation. And then after about 4 or 5 minutes, you say, "Well, I don't want to keep you. Would you mind giving me your number or can I give you mine?" And then if she's interested, she'll say, "Sure." If she's not, because you never know. I mean, she might have, a boyfriend, a baby daddy. I mean, you don't know what her situation is. So don't always think that the rejection is anything to do with you. It might just be her situation prevents it, or maybe somebody just died in her family and she just can't do it right now emotionally. She just can't, she's not in that space. You never know what a woman is going through, so don't ever just assume that she's being mean and she's rejecting you because you're no good, and or she's just a bitch and all this kind of stuff like dudes do. Women are people too, and we have a lot of stuff going on in our lives that you don't know about. Our top focus in life is not men, trust me, but a lot of guys seem to think that. So they never give women any grace to have other things going on in their life that don't include men. So, if she says no, you say, well, that's okay. That's great. And still, I really enjoyed talking to you. And thank you so much for the recipe tips. I'm going to put those to good use and I post a picture on my Instagram or something like that. You leave on a high note. You leave on a high note. So then if she ever sees you in the store again, she'll run up to you and want to talk to you. Okay. So don't be ignorant when you do these kind of things. Be polite, be gentlemanly, and leave her saying, well, God, he's such a nice guy. Oh, I hope I see him again, kind of thing. That's what you want to leave women with. So she has time to think about you. She can fantasize you. And if you go to that store often, then she'll most likely see you again. Another time, yeah, girl, she just ruined all my fun because I was just imagining all kind of stuff I could do with him. He was cute. Woo! And the dark kind of white guy, not the real fair kind of. He looked like more Italian or something. So then Another time I was in this grocery store, and it was summertime. I remember because I had this like little backless sundress on, and my hair was all whipped. I was looking cute. I don't know why I was looking cute that day. Had on my little high heel sandals and stuff, and I'm at the grocery store. And this guy who worked in the meat department, the only reason I knew he worked it because he came, he had the white butcher coat thing. He had that on. And so I'm pushing my cart and then suddenly, you'd be looking at the side like that and he jumped in front of my cart and I hit him. And I felt like I was like, "Oh my God," because I hadn't seen him. And then I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And he's like, "Oh," he just was grinning. And I'm like, that's not the response that I was expecting. And then he's like, "It's okay that you hit me with your car because I came over here so you could." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I just think I just saw you and I thought you're so beautiful. I had to come over here and talk to you." I'm like, "Oh." So then I pulled a Leandra. I said, "Oh, so what are you gonna do?" I was about to head over to the meat department. So we went to the meat department. He's like, "What do you want?" So I told him I pointed a couple of things I want. He took him to the back and changed the price tag. So I still had to pay because you got to scan. You can't just walk out with meat in the grocery. They put a price on it. So he put a discount sticker on it and then he put the new price on it. So when I got to the register, scanned at that new price, which was like less than half. I think probably about 30% of what it should have been. And so I'm like, okay, that was you. He was kind of cute, but that's as far as it went. I wasn't giving him no play. He was too old. But I don't know. The grocery store is a good place, especially like Whole Foods, because a whole bunch of singles go there. And the one over here in what's it, Lafayette, I think it is. Lafayette in California, over here in the Bay Area, they used to have at some point, like in the early 2000s, they would have like a singles. They had events, and so be all these single people up in there for the wine tastings and the cheese tastings and all this kind of stuff. It was like like a little date night. So you could go over there and meet you somebody. I don't know if they still do it. Yeah, they be cute. So I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, that's a way to segue into a conversation that sounds normal, that doesn't sound like it's pressuring her, and that leaves a room for her to bow out if she's not single and available and interested in you. That's what you want to do as a man. You don't want to put women in a position where they, can't say no. What you want to do is give her an option. Always give two choices or even three if you can, but she should also always have a choice that you've already provided her. Like, can I give you my number or take yours or, maybe this isn't really what you want to do or so. I mean, however you want to word it, but she doesn't do anything. And then, you let her just, she's gonna pick one. Oh, I'll take your number. Oh, well, yeah, I can give you my number. Or no, thank you. I already have a boyfriend or something. You know what I mean? You want to do it that way. That's how it worked out for me. He's like, "Hey, meat department, you trying to get some play? Let's go over here to this meat counter and see what you want. What is you all about?" All right, let's do question number 19. This is a male in the 20 to 34 age group from Little Rock, Arkansas. So, oh wait, I already read this. Why do I keep? Yeah, that was question number 19. Okay, so this is the last question. Wait, this is long as hell. Why is it so long? Female, 28 to 34 from Brighton, England. Summer issue. My boyfriend makes me feel like I'm a bad person. I stayed over at my boyfriend's house since I had half a day the following day. I meant to get up early and go home, but ended up sleeping in and waking up in a midday panic. He tried to wake me, but he couldn't. He got me some pastries for breakfast, even though I don't even eat breakfast, and seemed annoyed that I didn't eat them at all. He was really cold when I left his place. He sent me a text later saying that I was really selfish. He was upset as he had problems yesterday and it felt like I had ignored those. He was annoyed I didn't do the washing up before I left, but he is in a house share and he's always seemed to not want me to go into the shared area, so I've not done this. He has always wanted me to stay just in his room. We were on the phone between 11 and 3 a.m. I was saying, "I'm sorry, I'm selfish." And he was like, "Do you know why I'm saying you're selfish?" And quote, you still don't know until I was able to explain how awful I'd been. In his eyes, I don't think I'd done anything wrong. It was horrible. He then told me that I'm selfish in the bedroom too. Well, damn dude was just on one, huh? I was really surprised by this as I've always tried to do stuff he likes. He has asked me to try new things, which I have mostly obliged. He has an obsession with me being right. Will always shut down any debate with, "Oh yes, I remember. You're right. I'm wrong." This makes it impossible as it means he can just shut down any conversation. His nickname for me is Paxman, as he says I am like him, argumentative. I don't know who that is. That must be some UK thing. This is my first relationship since getting divorced. My ex-husband was very abusive, but was the one who ended our marriage. When I tried to explain this to my boyfriend and said, I don't know why my ex-husband was so horrible to me, he said I should try and see my ex-husband's point of view. Wow. I'd held off criticism of my ex, but it got to a point where I needed to explain as we share two children and they don't even like going to see their father. Yesterday he said, "Are you sorry to see why your ex left?" Wow. Lady, you just which really hurt my feelings as my ex-husband was awful to me. Okay, I'll just skip that. That's it. I just don't know what to do. He has made me feel like I'm a really horrible person when I know that I'm actually not. I'm not perfect, but it's like he thinks I'm this awful, selfish, argumentative individual. He is constantly threatening to end things, saying he will move away, etc. And this has been a recurring theme throughout the time we've been together. So I'm always wary of him being too affectionate. I'm wary of being too affectionate as I know he can pull the rug at any moment. He said I'm not grabby enough with him, so he doesn't feel wanted. I'm not particularly demonstrative, but I've explained this. I spend as much time with him as I can. I try to do nice things for him, but it's hard to be grabby as I think every time I see him, it will be the last and he's breaking things off. Last weekend, he said, I love you for the first time, and I thought we had turned a corner. But now it's back to threats to end things, etc. I don't know how to proceed at this point. I feel offered to use this stupid. How can anybody be this stupid and weak and call themselves a person and you got kids and shit? What's wrong with you? Girl, what you're supposed to do when he tells you we're gonna break up, you're supposed to say, good, because I'm sick of your shit. Take your shit and get the fuck out. Like quick now, in a hurry. And don't think you coming back. As soon as the second you get to the other side of that door, I'm changing the locks. Why would anybody accept this kind of repeat disrespect? You are in a abusive relationship with your ex-husband. You still in one. You just change the face. But this is straight emotional abuse. He might not be putting his hands on you, but he's definitely breaking you down mentally at every opportunity, making you feel small and worthless, and labeling you with all these negative labels and stuff, and having you feel bad. And he's in a house share. I mean, why would you even go over there? Being to live. I mean, that's some shit that I know. I'm not going to house share with no grown man in his 30s. I'm not doing that. Get your own place. I, Giggles, wait. He's saying what Giggles had to say. Next time he says he's moving, tell him you have some extra boxes he can have. Savage. I love it. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, don't be I mean, this is where the being a bitch part comes in. He wanna say, "You got pasties for breakfast," and he's saying selfish that you didn't eat them. It's like, "I'm not eating that nasty shit. It's full of chemicals and preservatives, and I don't eat breakfast in the first place. What the fuck you do that shit for?" And then wanna sit up there and be mad because 'cause I'm not gonna eat some shit that I don't eat. You sound stupid. And then I would've went out the door and went to work. And then he sends you this text saying, you were he had problems too, and I ignored him and said, yeah, I did ignore him because all you do is want to complain about some shit. You complain about everything. So how am I supposed to know that something really happened? You complain all the goddamn time. That's all you ever do. And then he says, you didn't do the washing up before you left. Said, what is my name? Mabel? I'm your maid now. So I come over and I deliver sex and cleaning. Is that what you really thinking I'm supposed to do? Nigga, fuck you. White boy, whatever the hell he is, you didn't put what race you are. But whatever the hell he is, you tell him fuck you. I'm not doing that. And then he's like, he kept on the phone between 11 and 3 a.m. while you yelled and ranted and raved at you. You were supposed to say, well, I've heard enough of this simple bullshit. I'm going to bed. And then you hang up your phone and you turn your phone off. And he could just sit there and rant and rave all by himself to himself. But see, you didn't do any of that. You just, feed into his stuff and you just let him say he's selfish in the bedroom. Say, well, I'm selfish in the bedroom because I'm trying to get some kind of fun out that little 10 minutes of dick that you be delivering. I mean, it's a struggle, but I be trying to help make you feel better about your little efforts. But if I really was really going in on you, you wouldn't be very happy. You really wouldn't think that you was putting anything down because you're not. I don't know. I love being mean. Ah, I don't know. You guys crack me up when you be quoting the crazy shit that comes out of my mouth. But I mean, just that's what I'm talking about, though. You don't be giving these men be telling them nothing, letting them tell you nothing about what they think and what they want and their little opinions. I'm like, motherfucker, then when I want you to have an opinion, I'll give it to you. Until then, shut up. Sit over there and look pretty. Somebody might want to talk to your dumb ass. Anyway, for some reason, tonight's column just irritated me. In the back of my mind, I had fantasized like, once I retire from doing all my other kind of work, I don't know when that'll be though, because I like having money in my bank account. But I thought, well, I could do it like since I have everything set up, I could do a show every day. And it wouldn't be this long, like maybe, I don't know, say 5 questions. 5 questions, I could do 5 question show every day. And then I think about it, it's like these people get on my nerves. And so I don't know if I'd be able to do that. That's what your daddy would say. That's what I'm saying. Say maybe I should have met your daddy, huh? That's probably not a good idea if we both think alike. That could be like, okay, people say it's fireworks, but it could be like deadly fireworks if somebody end up dead. But yeah, this was fun though. But I'll be back on Sunday. So if you're not already a subscriber to this channel, please hit that subscription button and press the instant notification bell so you can find out in case I decide to jump on and do another show. Tomorrow I plan to go out. We're gonna be going way out with the pals, and we're gonna eat, stuff our faces, and have some drinky drinks. Going to this place where they serve basil martinis, my favorite. They're so refreshing. My God, it's just like unbelievable. I would have never thought to put basil on a martini, but it is really, really, really good. It's an Italian restaurant. So that's where we're going to go. Then I'm going to bring my butt home and pass out till the next day. But you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening and start your weekend off fun. You can tell me all about it when I see you on Sunday. Sunday shows are at 4 p.m. Pacific time to 7 if you're on the East Coast. All right. I will see y'all later. Bye.